Evening. This is the Elliott wave update for the NASDAQ 100 and the S&P 500 for Wednesday, June 14th, 2023. Well, my initial assessment of what would occur after the Fed announcement today was that I felt it would be a quick thrust higher and then a drop. And I got the opposite. We got an initial drop, pretty strong, and then a run back up. So I'm going to start here on the hourly chart in the NASDAQ and focus on where we are and what I believe is still yet to come. So again, I'm still just kind of working through a minor fifth wave up here in the NASDAQ. And within that minor fifth wave, I believe that I've now completed minute waves 1, 2, and 3. And minute 3 actually ended up today at that early high, which went up, tapped that initial resistance at 15,213. I believe that high was 216. And then we kind of just meandered around for several hours until the Fed announcement. We did a quick plunge lower, and it did actually come in as an ABC. Now, I could put a 4 down here, and then that would suggest these are the levels for a continued rally. But before I go over that, and before you can notice I did not put the 4 there, because we run the possibility that, again, on a much smaller time frame, that this wave 4 may not be complete. And so we still have, that's only wave A, this is wave B, because right now, when I look at our very small time frames, it's an ABC up. So, and let me just see if I can do something here quickly. I'll bring it down to the 15-minute chart. You can kind of see there's the A, B, and we're looking at the C wave up. So if it's wave A, B, C, B, it's going to be an irregular B. That was my point, an irregular B. And if that's the case, then what we can then expect once we're completed with this A and then an ABC B is that we're going to get a nice C wave back down. And it likely is going to come in right back down here at 14,976 was the low, but maybe even a little bit lower to complete that fourth wave. So there we have what I consider an irregular B wave, an irregular corrective process. So we get the A, an irregular B wave, and then it drops back down to put the C in to complete the 4. That's out there, so we still may see that happen. So if not, then we're going to take this as the low of 4, and we're now going to start moving up in a fifth wave, which may extend, which may do all kinds of things. But initially, if indeed, unless I got to move the 3 even higher, so, and again, I just want you all to understand, and I know many of you do, that because we're doing this in an active market, it's not just done for the day and that's all we get, and we can go figure out what our next move is. This whole move is fluid. It's continuing to happen. And there's quite a bit of volatility out there. So to kind of pinpoint, oh, that's for sure, now we're going to get this, now we're going to get that, is not really a good, I mean, we can give our best view, but I can't give you 100% certainty, okay, the markets are going to continue to go higher or the market's going to swing lower. So what I always attempt to do is to give you both sides of that picture. If we do get another swing lower and it comes all the way back down, it's not suggesting, okay, that's the high. It would be more suggestive of, because of the wave pattern, that it's an irregular B wave within a fourth wave correction. And that correction would bring us back down. And that would actually make it very neat and clean if it did that, because this pattern going up is pretty wild. So in any case, there's that. And that normally would bring us back down to what we would consider like a one. If this was not even actually a 1.382 move off of this, that actually is up here somewhere. So in reality, we could get it where it could really kind of go high and then still come all the way back down and then still go all the way back up. And this just kind of is reflective of what's going on in the market, how the market is really just trying to price itself and figure out where is fair value, where should we be in terms of the index, in terms of all of the individual stocks. What seems to be propelling it right now, even after hours, was that NVIDIA continues to surge higher. Even after hours, it surged higher. So we might get a little bit of a bounce. And then if it turns, which we won't know, then we might see it come all the way back down. If not, that is minute 1, and we're going to be in a minute 5th wave. Well, that's the 100%. Where minute 5 would be 100% of minute wave 1 at 15,241. We've already been there. We actually got up to 243.5. So we've already hit that level. So do we turn from here and come back down and then call it a wave 4? Possibly. If it continues to go, our next level, that's why I've taken out all of the in-betweens, and our next level would be where wave 5 would be 1.618 of wave 1, and that comes in at 15,405. Now, one more level, again, this would be for upside, that I will put in, and that is the minor degree, which we have in here. So what we have in the minor wave 5, and I'll go back down to my hourly chart. So here we have the 100% for minute, 1.618 for minute, and here's our minor. 618, we surpassed. That we hit today, and now we have surpassed it successfully. What's next? 100%. And you'll see that that's at 15,703. Now, let's just kind of take a look at this and go like, this is interesting. Because if indeed that today's low at 14,976 completed our minute 4, and then minute 5 is in force, that the 2.618 level is 15,670. And that coincides very close, right, with 15,703. So we have a little bit of a cluster right there. We have another cluster right here where minute 5 would be 1.618, and that just happens to go with the much larger primary B wave. That primary B wave then all lines up again, 0.786% of that wave A here at 15,435. And then we have the 618 at 15,422. Wow, kind of tough. Give me a minute here while I just separate these two, bring them back down. The 618 is the 1.618 is 15,405. That would be for the minute 5. But then the cluster tops out at 15,423, I'm going to call it. So that puts that there. So we have clustered there, which matches up with other sections of this larger move. So we're looking for completion of the larger move. We're looking for completion of the minor degree, and we're looking for completion of the minute degree. So we start to see if we can get them lined up. Now, one more that I can add, let's just see if we get a super cluster, as we might want to call it, right? That we have this, oops, I got to change that. Sorry. I'm going to go down. We're going to do extensions on this one too. They're going to be pretty high. We're going to do one for the C wave. Oh, dang it. And we're going to try that again, see if I can get this right. A wave to the B wave. Now here, look what we have. Now, so we've already gone past the 100% for sure. We've already gone, and so now our next one up in terms of the C wave is that the C would be equal to 1.618 of wave A. So we have to follow. And let me just take one quick step and let's get rid of all that fluff that we actually don't even need to see anymore because we've surpassed it all. I'll leave that one and we'll change this to 2.618, which would be its next level. So we use multiples. And so the math is not that difficult to get our upper levels. So again, let's put this whole picture together. Primary B, those are the fib levels for coming up in the primary B wave, right? And then we have the intermediate C wave. So these are the levels for the intermediate C wave that now we've exceeded that 100%. What would be next on that fib ladder? 1.618, where wave C would be 1.618 of wave A. Not that uncommon. You know, first is equality, then we have 1.618. C waves are similar to third waves. They're long, they're strong, they're powerful. Now we're getting this is seeming pretty powerful. I think we all agree. So to believe that that might not happen is not true. Now, I do grant you that it took a while for this to ignite. But again, let me just rephrase. We are in a move in progress. And there are a lot of variations, a lot of things that you can include within it. But the only one that's going to tell me exactly is the market itself. And that's what the market is now doing. And as we surpass levels, we go to the next level. That then becomes possible. And it's not that I'm always looking for a top. I'm just tracking the market. The market's going to tell us when it tops and when it turns, and we'll notice it and we'll see it. But right now, we're still tracking the upside move. Okay, so to kind of bring this into a little bit tighter focus so we can see our numbers here. And let me just bring these out a little bit so we can all get a view. So here we have the primary B wave. And now we have a nice cluster there, still the same, where we have minor, and then we have minute. So we have a three cluster here on the minute level. And that's 15,401, 15,460, 423, and 15,465. So that's a cluster that covers a nice little bit of ground right there. If that all gets exceeded, which, you know, pretty much we're exceeding all these down here, so then we'd have to start looking where we're going to exceed them here. Brings us into our next cluster, which is 15,670. Which is minute wave 5 being 2.618 of minute wave 1. Is that correct? Yes, I'm now I can't even tell anymore. And then I think the minor would be 100% at 15,703, because they're so getting close together. So there's the minute. There is the minor, excuse me, but it's a cluster, and it goes from 15,662 to 15,703, and actually up here, up top, here's the C wave. So we have 15,787, I'm going to call it 780, 790, right, all in that hood. So we have a larger cluster right here. Decent here, these are being exceeded. So these become the next higher probable levels for the market to move up to. And that's basically, if we start exceeding all these, I'm going to drop this back down to that hourly chart, then this count is likely going to expand yet again. And it truly could. The third wave, because we're not getting big enough pullbacks to consider a minor degree pullback. But these third waves are subdividing and then subdividing and then subdividing. So the entire move is going to take a lot longer to finish. Now, we still have a lot of input because you have to remember that's like what also goes into this, folks, is there's a lot of things coming off on Friday. Friday is the, I believe it's a quad expiration. So we have options expiring within all of the component stocks in this index, and in the S&P, and in the Dow, and in the Russell. We have futures options that are expiring. We have ETF options that are expiring. We have, in the bond market, we have options that expire, monthlies. So we have a lot of things coming off. But just within the equity markets, there's a lot that's going to be position-wise that becomes complete. They expire. So there's going to be that play between tomorrow and Friday of getting into wherever they want these markets to put in their expirations. So it could be a wild ride, and we could get some very seriously strong moves. Because I think as we start to really push higher, even in the equity markets, even within the individual stocks, the resistance levels, or just where sellers will start stepping away. So it'll be left up to a lot of like the option traders who need to sell or need to buy. They'll be making the bids and the offers, and so they'll be trading basically with each other, because a lot of other traders are like, well, I'm not going to sell it here unless they can have something to hedge it with or do something against it. So we start to get a little bit quicker moving in one direction, because there's the liquidity starts to kind of dry up. Now, so we have these levels. Everything still remains in line for the markets to continue to move higher. If we get a big enough pullback going here, then we can shift counts. But otherwise, it's still just subdividing within the wave patterns that it's in. Over in the S&P, it is also crazy. So again, I've moved it up. And you can see subdivides, triangles, get all the way up there in a diagonal type move. And I believe up here at that high, which is 44.39.50, it really just completed my new 3. Now, I'll just tell you, when we take a look at this, even on the 4-hour chart, should this be minor 3? Pretty big if it was. Very, very big if it was. There's one other interpretation that can kind of go in with this. That, and this is coming via somebody else, I'm not really using it, because I don't, it's remember, we're in an ABC, which is the primary B wave. That could be wave A, and the B wave could be a triangle, be A, B, C, D. It doesn't really wedge except right at the very end. So I'm not really, because it accelerated. It broke out of it and it accelerated, but not until here. So this is where our acceleration started. And so I'm tending to hang out with this A and the B, and that we're in the C wave, and it's 1, 2, 3. 3 is not the shortest wave. 1 is, 5 is the extended wave, the massively extended wave. And to me, it just fits much cleaner, because this is where we started to accelerate within the 3 of 5. And that 3 of 5 may have just ended today. So again, was that just wave A of 4? And that this could be wave B of 4, and we get another turn lower that brings us down, more in tune with where we need to be for a wave 4. Notice where I put that 4. So this 4 is just hanging out, waiting. I'm just going to stick it over here somewhere, right? So I had to move the 3 up, and because the 5 just was, it would be a 5 getting out of control. So it ended up being an internal 5, subdividing, then subdividing, and then subdividing. So if we put the 3 there, we're looking for another leg down in the 4. I need it to be deeper. I need a decent, solid pullback, couple of days, and it may not get it. So it could continue to just go from here, which is actually just going to extend it out again. And it causes just that I have to go back and just not relabel, but that's essentially what it is. But it isn't, it's trying to just track the market and not really like, well, I can't make up my mind. It's like the market is just kind of continuing to build on this current rally phase. So to keep in mind, well, what is the potential of this now? How far can we go? And I know that there's a lot of it, the impatience is coming because I'm looking for the completion of a primary B wave, which is a counter trend rally. But I've now been talking, and I'm going to bring it up again today. We do have potential, folks. We do still have that potential. I got to take it out to my short-term weekly, where, and I know it still looks like it's still 400 points away, less than 400 points away from the all-time high, which is 4808 via the future. So can it get up there? Well, sure. Actually, it can. This beast does not belong here. Let me see. I'm going to get rid of that guy. It can get up there. And then it becomes what we've been calling an irregular B wave, because it's a primary B wave. Now, when we say irregular, what does that necessarily mean? It means that the B wave exceeded the high or the starting point of wave A. And in this case, it would put a new all-time high in for the S&P. Now, everybody goes, well, come on, then it's not corrective. It's like, it sure is. And I'm not going to go into the detail about like what we would expect after it, because I've done that and I catch a lot of flack for saying it. But I do need to include, again, that the potential that it could. Now, what fibs you would use? They're going to be retracements. But I'm going to put them in right now so that you can see what we're talking about. First one would be 1.236, right? Second one is 1.382. Those are the two that we use that actually Elliott gave us when we have an irregular move, that it often is going to come in at a 1.236 or 1.382. Well, here they are, right there. So we have 5,100 to 5,300. Now, I mean, whoa, it's a bull market. Okay, whatever you want to call it, that's fine. I don't use necessarily that type of wording. But is it a bullish move? Yeah, it is. But it's in the form of a counter trend rally. Rally, up, right? Decline, down. So I guess it's a matter of semantics, but in any case, I am including it again tonight. I'm going to take them off because it's not a given. It's just out there. It's a possibility. And we would be looking to increase that as the market would continue to give us reason to. I'm going to bring it all the way back down now to my hourly chart, because I've got this in to show if we get that another leg down. Then I can put the 4 there. Then I can start connecting minute 1 to minute 4 so we can get that fifth wave in. But outside of that, I basically have taken all of the others down. If we continue to move higher, I can start by putting in, got to get these set up right. Sorry. We're going to put that C wave back in, the fibs for the C wave. And there's the A, and here's the B. And so we have 100% at 45.52. That would be next. That's next up. All right. We've surpassed 786. That was at 44.10. We've actually got up to 44.39 as we discussed today. And so I'm going to take off this. Those are for the downside. And you can see we pretty much were looking for something maybe to get back down to 43.50, maybe a little bit lower, right? Because that's where the 50 is on the 4-hour chart. What else can I hook up? We can hook up our fibs for minor 5 as it relates here. Now I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to start editing out all the stuff I don't need right now. All these have been exceeded. I'll leave the 100. 1.618 I'll leave there. And I'm going to add 2.618 because those are the numbers that's what's left. The intensity of the move. And so now we have those. So you can see. So we have, if we continue to go up, minor wave 5, which is what we're in, and it's been glorious. It's been a great move. It's been a solid move up. And we are opening up a little bit. And the NASDAQ, I figured it would continue, but it's not going crazy right now. It's not going crazy. In any case, what we have next up is 4481 in terms of minor wave 5, right? Then we have wave C, intermediate wave C is 100% of wave A at 4552. Now, minor wave 5 comes in at 47. I'm going to call it 4700 something, 4700. We're going to put it there right above. I am not completing because I'm still kind of looking for this fourth wave to kind of come in here a little bit. We'll see. We have Globex to get through tomorrow morning. Now, moving average is all kind of looking pretty good. Tomorrow morning, we have a whole bunch of economic numbers. We have initial jobless claims, retail sales, U.S. retail sales. We have import price index. We have Empire State Manufacturing Survey, Philly Fed Manufacturing Survey. That all comes out at 8:30 a.m. Eastern. At 9:15, we have industrial production. And then at 10 a.m., we have business inventories. So we have quite a little bit of cluster of numbers that are coming out starting at 8:30 a.m. Eastern, all the way up to 10 a.m. Eastern. And that's where I am going to conclude for today. I wish everybody a great trading day tomorrow. And the next update will be on Thursday, June 15th.